Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? I got my coffee with me. I appreciate you guys joining this breakfast training talk. I got something on my lip. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe some oatmeal. Who knows? But I appreciate you guys joining this training talk. And man, gosh, I got stuff all over me. Embarrassing. Should have looked at myself before I did this. Episode 17 here. And I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you guys like these videos, feel free to subscribe, follow along, comment below. Let me know what y'all want to think. Today, I want to talk about a really quick and useful training tip. It's the idea of reps in reserve. So what is reps in reserve? Well, reps in reserve is something I like to use kind of in conjunction with RPE, which is rate of perceived exertion, to help organize my training. Now, I don't necessarily write these out. It's more of a mental thing I do, but it helps me organize the intensity and demands of a given training session. So reps in reserve is simply the idea of if you know you can do 5 reps at this weight and you want to do 2 reps in reserve, then you're only going to do 3 reps in all. It's going to be a really easy way to organize your training load without having to think about how many reps you should do. Because instead of saying I should do 3 reps or 4 reps or 6 reps, during the set itself, you can say, look, I just want to do 2 reps in reserve. So when you get to a point of fatigue where you realize I only have 2 reps left, you cut it off. It's auto-regulating in the sense it's not a metric that you set in stone beforehand in terms of number of reps. You let your body decide. I like things where you listen to your body. I think this is one of those very beneficial ones. Because what happens too, if you say 2 reps in reserve, your first set might be 4 reps, your next set might be 4 reps, your next set might be 3 reps because you only could have done 5. And an example where you initially could have done 6 reps at those 4 reps, but then you got tired, and so you only, did 3 reps the next time. You get the idea. Now, the other idea is rate of perceived exertion. That just tells you how difficult something was. What's your RPE? Typically, the higher the RPE, the more exerted it was and more demanding it was, the less the reps in reserve. And so you can kind of use these two metrics together and marry them together to form a nice means of understanding your training intensity. Well, when I do things that have 2 reps in reserve or 5 reps in reserve or 3 reps in reserve or no reps in reserve, what is the typical rate of perceived exertion during that situation? Why is this so important? Because training is about providing a large enough stimulus in the body to create adaptation. Your body doesn't necessarily know the number of sets and reps, 4 versus 5. It knows a relative fatigue demand. So it says, look, if I'm under strain and I have to produce X amount of effort, we want to be able to do those many efforts many times, because of training we shouldn't just do 1 set and be really tired and be done. We want to organize it so we can actually recover. And number 2 is recovery is dependent on probably more so the rate of perceived exertion and the total relative efforts you do, as opposed to just the number of sets you do and reps you do, because you could just do 100 reps with no weight. It doesn't mean it's more tiring than 1 rep with a lot of weight. And so this is where taking the idea of reps in reserve and rate of perceived exertion and putting them together. The reason why this is so important too is because as you train, you learn more about your body. You begin to look at it and think about it. Okay, I understand that when I do higher intensity work, let's say heavier weights, I'm using something that's above 75% of my 1 rep max. When it comes to managing my fatigue, I want to then look at the number of reps I can do in reserve, reps in reserve I can do, because I know that's an indicator that when I get to those near maximal efforts, like 2 and 3 reps in reserve, maybe 1 rep in reserve, I get really tired. I want to lift that weight, but I want to lift it for numerous sets and reps. So if I push myself really hard the first set, I won't be able to do many other sets after. My RPE will be really high, like a 9, and I'll be so tuckered out and tired that I just can't do the other sets. So managing your reps in reserve can help manage the entire training load and in turn allow you to do more higher quality work, at the same time making sure you're not doing this high quality work at the expense of being super duper tired from the high high level of RPE. So that's how I like to think about the two together. It's a really useful training tip. It's helped me a ton in my own personal training, and it's something I like to use and talk about with my athletes to better understand how they are feeling, how they are training, and again, how we can manage our training loads to get the most out of them. I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you enjoy. It's a short and sweet one today. It is a Saturday morning. We got the corn here. I'm doing good. It's nice and cool out, not too hot. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. As always, I appreciate you listening. And if you guys like it, subscribe, comment below, and let me know what y'all think. Take care and enjoy the weekend.